I'm going to hand you back over to Rachel, and she will continue on. Maybe, Rachel, you want to sort of summarize what you said before and continue on from there. Okay?
Thank you, everyone, for bearing with that. So I think what I was just starting to say was to just preface how powerful relationships with each other are, and how, because they're sort of the heartbeat of our lives, they're such fertile ground for us to be triggered to such a state that we might experience misalignment, right? And often that comes from fear or worry or insecurity or doubt or shadow or anything within us that hasn't been fully healed or we're not fully conscious of. And so being in alignment with ourselves, with our connection to the divine source of our creation, or, you know, however we achieve that, is a crucial starting point, or at the very least, this space in which we can return home to become anchored, so that we can really experience the types of sacred connection that we all long for and that we all really deserve, but that's so often, when we're not in alignment with that true part of us, we don't set the standard for. So what I want to say is that this connection that's sacred is an art. It is an art, and it requires skill. You know, how we're showing up, what we're saying, how we're coping when we're triggered, how we express and embody our own worthiness. And all of these things contribute to a sense of being in alignment with ourselves, and by extension, whoever else we're in relationship to and in relationship with. So I wanted to just talk a little bit about what does it mean to be in alignment for powerful relationships. You know, I see a lot of people I work with in relationships that, and it's not just that, you know, I think the idea here is not that the relationship is always easy, or there's like no conflict ever, or you don't have to work through things. That is not the idea. The idea is that there is an unwavering sense of harmony and security in the ability to work through whatever comes up, knowing that that is an opportunity to deepen, to enrich, to expand, and to create a more solidified bond. And so that is what being in alignment for powerful relationships is all about. But it really has to start with our own ability to discern what's getting in the way of us showing up in that way. Because it isn't until we can show up for ourselves in that way that we invite in the other person to meet us there. And if they can't, because of their own misalignment stuff, then we are empowered to choose whether or not we stay engaged and to what extent. And so really this idea of sacred connection with another, a friend, a sister, a lover, a partner, a beloved, you know, it really, the other person, regardless, can become this beautiful extension and mirror of how we know ourselves to be, and how connected we are to our own sense of worth, our own sense of integrity, and our own ability to trust ourselves. And, you know, what I'll say is that I really feel that we all, our true nature is to feel, desire, and I guess that's it, to desire feeling seen, feeling felt, feeling known, and feeling attuned to by the other. And that we're safe in that place, we can trust that place. And that is what sacred connection is really all about. That's sort of the embodiment of what sacred connection is. This reciprocal reverence, this dependability, we can work through anything. So what I want to just say is that it isn't until like the alignment within self, within self and with the higher source is a prerequisite to the type of sacred connection that I'm talking about. And that doesn't mean that there won't be these assignments or these lessons that are thrown your way if you still need to learn some aspect of self-love, self-trust, self-worth that might deter you from alignment. So then your task is just to know your center and to find the path home over and over and over again. So that you don't continue to abandon or betray yourself in relationship to another, which often comes from that core wound place that's old for a lot of us. So what I want to say is, if you're single, and I'm talking broadly about relationships, but I work a lot with romantic relationships, intimate connection in that way. And so if you're single and looking, what I want to say is that being in alignment is about setting the standard for yourself, and that's sort of it. Living your life so robustly, so unapologetically, so fully that there's actually no fear, there's no worry. There's a quote, I think it comes from A Course in Miracles, and it's something like, those who are certain of the outcome can wait and wait without anxiety. So being in alignment is, when it comes to, if you're single and looking for a relationship that's romantic, it's just about knowing with certainty that it's there. You don't have to grasp for it. You don't have to fret about it. You just have to be embodied in who you are and what you're worth and what makes your heart sing. And from there, it's just, you magnetize all of the things that are magical and lovely and fluid when it comes to relationships. That, I will say, requires that practice, that skillful art of learning sort of what gets in the way for you. Where are you not showing up for yourself? What are you settling for? And where is that coming from? Yeah, I just want to say, off the heels of that, you can ask yourself, is this old core wound place in me? What does this feel like? Is this familiar? Is this old? Or is this like a new feeling of that fresh feeling, that buoyancy, that freedom that comes when I am in full embodied alignment with my path and myself and my soul and spirit and the bigger source of this all. And we know when we're in and not in alignment. So I think I just want to encourage more of that conscious discernment, and also compassion and patience for yourself in the places that it gets hard, because that is where you need to lean in deeper to understand the message, the lesson that you still need to learn to fully heal. And it's always evolving, it's always unfolding, it's always deepening. But it requires our willingness to be courageous with ourselves enough to ask the question about what's getting in the way of our authentic truth. And so in terms of, how to notice when you're out of alignment with this sort of sacred connectivity, you can ask yourself, how does it feel? Do I feel seen, heard, met? Or is there some underlying stress here that is sort of taking me off my path? And if so, where is that coming from? Where do I feel that in the body? What's the narrative there for me? And how can I be with that, either to determine how true that is for me, or, then to let it go, or to listen to the message that I most need to settle into, so that I can release this part of me that maybe is keeping me stuck in a pattern, in a relationship that is dissatisfying or destructive. And then I would also say, awareness of your behaviors. So just, I think off the heels of what I just said, when we don't act in alignment with our values, with who we deeply know we are, when we sort of relinquish ourselves for the sake of the connection, it doesn't feel good. Like something's gone awry. And there's a very higher part of us that knows that. So I would just, again, encourage, I think, courageous confrontation, compassionately, like, wow, why do I keep doing this thing in the relationship or in my dating life or in myself that isn't actually aligned with who I know I want to be, who I am, who I know I am. And if there's a lack of clarity there, then that's your indication to pursue sources of support that can help elucidate for you what you need to become anchored in the alignment, so that you can experience connections that are profoundly sacred, and that you begin to cultivate beloved community and partnership that is, just truly, truly beautiful and enriching, and what we really all want and deserve. So I think I'm going to pause there because I want to be aware of, we don't have a lot of time, and I don't know if there's any questions coming through, Megan. I do know that the echo stopped though. So
the echo did stop. Yay, learnings. Learnings, everybody. But thank you for continuing on and being such a professional, and you can tell that this information is just like channeled through you, and it's something that it's your jam. So yeah, if anybody has any questions for Rachel, please just pop them in the comments and I will relay them to her. I would love to know, like you talked about, a lot of your clients are looking for romantic relationships, and first, and I totally agree, like if we're going to make these sacred connections, it all starts with like our inner alignment. But a lot of people have blocks, and they just aren't able to find that love, that self-love, and that self-peace, which is going to attract their ideal, mate. What kind of like tools would you give your clients who are like having these blocks, who are unable to create that sacred connection with themselves first?
As a clinical psychologist and as an avid therapy goer, so not, I say get a therapist because, and that's not the only thing, but that I think what's required when it comes to these blocks that keep us from the things in our lives we most want and sort of long for, we need a comprehensive, committed approach to healing what it is that's keeping us from ourselves. And so I think, so I guess just like a commitment, and then like reaching out for support, getting a therapist, finding a local like sister circle or community where there's ritual and practice and reflection and connection. Journaling is really powerful. Elena Bauer has a beautiful journal called Practice You. And it has like these really lovely prompts that ask you to revisit who you were when you were 8 and what she needed then. And so that's a way to touch base with yourself intentionally. I think healing requires a multifaceted approach, but you could go to you could find an energy healer, just some sacred space each week where you're intentionally giving yourself time to reflect or to release or to confront.
Yeah, totally. I can totally resonate with that. I think a lot of the times we're so focused on the problem, or we're so distracted, we're so busy that we don't actually give ourselves the space to even process stuff like this. So, yeah, I totally agree. Okay, I've got another question here. How would one go about beginning a more conscious relationship?
With another?
I'm thinking with another.
Yeah. That's a really great question. I think a big part of it is the quality of the communication. And so if there's this pull you have to like be more intentional and present and conscious with this person you're in relationship with, I would say start by expressing that. and learn how to do it in a way that won't shame or blame, but that just really, is honoring this need and this desire you have to deepen and to be present and enriched together. Because they won't know if you don't tell them potentially. So that's a way to honor yourself in the relationship. And I think also just like really setting aside, in a similar way to what I recommended just prior, planning time, sacred time to be together uninterrupted, no tech, just each other. Look each other in the eyes, ask each other what is happening. How do you feel? Really listen to what your partner is going through, what they need. Stay curious.
And what about specifically like conscious dating? Like if you're trying to find, I mean, Tinder's probably not the place to find a conscious relationship. What are some like dating strategies when you're in that like initial like courtship,
right,
like, searching phase?
Yeah. I mean, I'd say that, this comes up a lot. Like if I'm dating, and where do I go and how do I look? And what I say to that is, if you are in true alignment with your deepest sense of desire and worth, it's you will find the person. Tinder, the grocery store, meditation, like it'll happen. The forces will come together in a way that's it. So I think it's just about staying purified within. And so I'd say, like, concretely, don't get wasted. Don't, I'd say eliminate alcohol. I'd say plan dates that feel right to you, like go on a walk or do whatever you're interested in that would feel like, oh, this would be a really enriching experience I had with this person. And I'd say just stay open, enjoy the experience of connecting in and of itself, and trust that whoever you end up out with, there's something you can learn or take away, or there's a way in which it's preparing you. So I think it's about flexing the attitudinal muscle too, like what are you telling yourself about how you're approaching it?
Yeah. Awesome. Well, if we don't have any more questions, and if you do have one, we probably have time for like one more, so feel free to type them down. But yeah, I just want to thank you so much for bearing with me through the echo. I think I know what it is now, so it won't happen again. And just for sharing your wisdom with us. And I just so appreciate you being here with us today. And I know that a lot of people in this group, have relationships that they are looking for more alignment in. So if somebody wants to connect with you or learn more about what it is that you do, how can they find you?
Yeah. So I'm at Hey Dr. Rachel pretty much everywhere. Hey Dr. DrRachel.com. I'm at Hey Dr. Rachel on Instagram. And I have two, I can work with you individually if you're interested in that support. I also have a Sacred Sister Circle online platform, which is a beautiful way to come together to witness one another. And to sort of bring the romance into our connection with each other as sisters and become empowered in that place too. So those are wonderful options for support from me. And if anybody wants a call, if anybody wants to talk about how I might support them, they can just schedule a free 60-minute discovery call with me through my Instagram or my website. So I hope to hear from whoever's called to connect. Please reach out.
And maybe, Rachel, you can send me that information and I will just write it down in the comments so people can just click and connect directly to you. Perfect. And that's awesome, a discovery call just to, figure out the direction and what needs to be, shifted, and a bit of an approach to moving forward.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Okay, well, thank you so much. Thanks everybody for tuning in live today and putting up with the echo. And yeah, tomorrow we're talking all about alignment and health, which is a big one, especially for me lately. So I look forward to connecting with all of you same time tomorrow.
Bye, everyone.
Okay, it's just me and you.